Brainerd, Minnesota, a city that is known for its outdoor environment and experiences. Being the home to over 450 lakes in the area, this admirable city is one of the most adored places in Minnesota. Yet most people who visit or even call the city their home have no clue how it even became about. Brainerd, being a unique city, has a history all of its own. The Northern Pacific Railway, which began in the late 1800s, is the initial roots and foundation to the city of Brainerd.
You might say that this chunk of land in the NP building here really is the only reason that we are here. And until 1978, 108 some years, we actually employed more people out of this chunk of land here from the Northern Pacific facilities here than either the mill or tourism or actually all combined.
You might say that having the headquarters of the soon-to-be million-dollar company start out of Brainerd gave the small area a large opportunity for growth. Well, it certainly gave the city a jump start to a concrete future. Unfortunately, just a few years later, they ran a track from St. Paul to Brainerd, giving St. Paul the title of being the headquarters.
I believe it was in the 40s or 50s they made a new car shop over here, and I think at one time they were probably putting out like dozens of cars per day, so it was a huge impact.
Just a few years later, the car shops began to migrate out to Portland, Oregon. This became another obstacle for the people of Brainerd, but they didn't give up.
At one time, there were 1,000 people working here, and Brainerd certainly had its ups and downs. Luckily, Brainerd was able to take the ups and build Brainerd along with it, but it surely was the only reason that Brainerd was able to survive all those 108 years.
Not only did the Northern Pacific employ a quarter of the city in this time, but it also branched out into the community. They built structures that were used for the entire area, such as a hospital, the headquarters hotel, and a YMCA.
If you kind of did a bird's eye view, it isn't just this plot of land. We still have the freight depot. In fact, it's still being used, and that's right in downtown Brainerd. These were all things that were part of Brainerd. And so you might say that the NP not only came in, they bought the land, they platted the actual town, and they built most of the infrastructure. And it was all done by the NP, so it was kind of like an instant town.
Because all of this property had such a strong influence on Brainerd, it became a challenge to tear down what was left when the train company teamed up with the Burlington Northern, moving the train station. These few remaining buildings have not been active to train repair for nearly 30 years. Ending train repair was certainly not the end of the Northern Pacific property. Since that time, owners of the property have been able to start absorbing the interest of businesses looking for a home by filling these vacant locations.
We've been known as an incubator for small businesses.
A small amount of companies grew out of the property, but some were able to benefit by finding a permanent spot right here within these 140-year-old walls.
And while it was a business decision that drove us here originally, what we have found since we've been here is as we bring our clients in and we give them tours of the facility and we do work here in our creative suite, we find that what is so exciting is that we can really share the history of Brainerd and the history of the area right through our own building. We serve clients nationally and many times have national clients come in, tour the facility, and as they really are engaged with the charm, we've got a wonderful story to tell as we point out the different components that include some of the train repair dollies and different things you see in the ceiling, the tracks that are in the warehouse, and it just really gives it not only a little essence of charm, but just the whole idea of being in a revitalized community. And the fact that we can take a revitalized property like this, serve clients nationally, and still provide a really high level of boutique service from kind of a really small, remote part of Minnesota.
As companies move in, these symbolic spaces transform to become what people currently need.
Some of the big buildings, the only logical use is some sort of a warehouse or manufacturing space, heavy-duty manufacturing, because the spaces are between 20 and 30,000 square feet, so it would not be conducive to offices. Currently, quite a few of our buildings, our bigger buildings, are vacant or underutilized.
So whether you're someone wanting to brush up on Brainerd's history or a business looking for a place to rest your feet, the Northern Pacific Railway and the Progressive Property Management are an icon in Brainerd's foundation and are always looking for another face to help maintain the history of this city.